Guys, just confirm if my audio and video is clear. I think it should be perfect here. We'll start. Yeah? And you can just put it in your group also, right? You can just ask people to join. Yeah? Sorry for the inconvenience. We'll quickly start. Just ask people to join in your WhatsApp groups. Okay. I see people joining. You can just quickly join. We'll start in a minute. Okay? Okay. Yeah? Yeah, okay, we'll quickly start, okay? People who are joining, you can join. I'll just give a quick introduction and then we'll begin. Okay, I hope my audio and video is fine. If anything is not okay, you can just let us know in the chat box, okay? We're actively watching that, so that'll be fine. Okay, so from today on, we're going to start the revision series for CA Foundation Law, right? So this paper for you is for 100 marks, correct? So you need to write a descriptive paper. Unlike how you write your economics and mathematics, which is objective based, you have an MCQ pattern paper. Your accountancy and law, to a variation, is a descriptive type paper. Abdina, you have to write the answers, right? So the main difficulty when it comes to law is that two main problems are there. One is it's a very new paper. Class 11th or class 12th, you have not studied law as a subject. You would have studied accountancy, you would have studied economics, you would have studied mathematics. But law as a subject, so the way of learning that subject might be a little new for you. Yeah? Is it clear, guys? I hope everything is fine. Are you able to catch me? Is my speed okay, or you want me to slow down? Just give me 1 or 2 minutes to settle down, and then we'll jump into our subject for today. Yeah? Okay, okay. If you can, if possible, you can switch on your videos if that's okay for you, because I can see you guys. So that'll be good. If not possible, that is also fine for me. Yeah? Okay, okay, great, great. So the main objective is, in law, the first problem is writing the paper is an issue. Is that correct? Because you have not experienced this paper before. If you business studies, you will be able to do that. If you accounts paper, you know how it goes. Okay, you know how when to final accounts. First, you will do sums like sales book or BRS. First. But law, it's a little difficult because you have not experienced the paper. So we have two objectives in the next 70 days. Okay, so I'm supposingly all of you are going to write JAN'26. Am I right? All of you here, your JAN'26 attempt, correct? Yes, all of you are JAN'26, okay? So here we have effectively, we have next how many days? Effectively, we have next 70 to 75 days to deal with the subject. We have only 7 chapters, okay? And major acts are the Indian Contract Act, which is we can say it's the Mother Act, and then you have the Companies Act. Now, ma'am, is partnership, SOGA and all not so important? Actually, partnership and SOGA is a subset of the Contract Act only. Okay, SOGA, your Sale of Goods Act, is a special type of contract. Your Partnership Act is a special type of contract. So if you are good with Contract Act, you have almost covered around 40 to 50% of your syllabus. So our major focus will be on Indian Contract Act and Companies Act. Of course, we'll also do the partnership and other acts as well. Okay, before I get into the subject, I just want to ask a couple of questions. Okay, if you know, you can put that in the chat box and see. This is not a live class, okay? So it's not a face-to-face class. So the only way I can interact with you is through the chat box and you being present on camera. Okay? So if it's possible, switch on your cameras. If not, be active on chat box, because that's how I'll know that you are there. Are you able to understand? Okay, today alone we had a little bit of delay. That won't happen tomorrow. We'll strike at 6 and we'll leave at whatever our time is, okay, which is 1.5 hours is what we have planned every day. Okay, if we have to stretch during the end, we'll stretch a bit. Okay, okay, so I want you to be extremely active at your chat box because that's the only way I can interact with you. Okay, now I saw a lot of your SAP papers. A lot of you have written your first 2 rounds of SAP, correct? You wrote your first. Just a minute. Yeah, okay. So you just wrote your first 2 rounds of your SAP paper, correct? And in that some mistakes I was able to notice. I'll just ask you a few questions. You try answering this if you know, okay? One is, you have written, I think, the Contract Act and the Partnership Act. This ரெண்டுத்துக்கு தான் நீ SAP எழுதிருக்க, கரெக்ட்டா? 1 or 2 units அதுல நீ படிச்சு இப்போ SAP எழுதிருக்க 2 வாரத்துல. இதுல இப்போ நீ எப்பவுமே ஒரு ஆன்சர் ஆரம்பிக்கும்போது how you will start? As per the provisions. And then you will write the name of the act, correcta? அப்படிதானே நீ ஆரம்பிப்ப. Now whenever you write the name of the act, you usually write it as the Companies Act 2013. Like this I have written. Can you let me know in the chat box if this way of writing is correct? Is this right? Can I start an answer like this? As per the provisions of the Companies Act. Is it okay or it is not the right presentation? Okay, some of you are saying, okay, some of you are saying no. If you say no, you need to tell me why. No clue is okay. Whatever you know, you let me know, okay? Section need to be there. Okay, now question is solla nee eppadi section number la eludhuva. Okay, I'm just telling whenever you generally start a question, as per the provisions of the Companies Act, as per the provision of the Partnership Act, ippadi ஆரம்பிக்கிறது கரெக்ட்டா தப்பா? It's correct. Yeah, most of you are telling that it's correct. Okay. Now let me give you one more style of presentation. You have to tell me what is the difference, okay? இப்போ இதே question I am writing it like as per the provisions of the Companies Act 2013. Is this correct? Is there any difference between the both of them? We should use capital letter, okay. Okay. Capital. A lot of you are telling me capital. Is that the only mistake? Okay, it's wrong, okay. Some of you are telling it's wrong and you're telling it's because I have not used the capital letters. Okay. Okay, somebody is telling there's a mistake in a comma. Okay. Okay, okay, is there any specific reason for the mistake? You guys are correct at pointing out that there's a mistake. Yes, there's a mistake. But what is the reason? What is the reason? So let me explain it to you. The reason is that you have not written the first letter as caps. Now in the second line, it's the wrong way of presentation. It's the wrong way because you have not written the first letter in capital. What is the significance of writing the first letter in capital? What is the significance of writing? It is just for handwriting or it is just a way of presentation. What is the significance? There should be some sort of significance, right? When I say the partnership and I don't write in caps, what does it make? Okay, somebody is telling it highlights the act, okay. It shows that you're talking about the Companies Act. Is that the reason? Is that the reason? That I just want to highlight the act? Or I just want to tell I'm talking about the Companies Act. Is that a particular reason or there can be any other reason also? Or if you don't know, just say you don't know the reason. That's okay. You don't know why it's written in caps. Okay, I don't see anyone specifically telling me the reason. So if you write it actually in small, it's the wrong way of presentation. Why it is the wrong way is, you should always write it, the first letter should be in capital. For example, when I write partnership, okay, whenever I write the word Partnership Act, the P should be in capital. Why the P should be in capital is because, now let's suppose two cricketers are playing. Okay, there's Virat Kohli and Rohit Sharma who are in the batting field. Do we call that two duo as a partnership in cricket? Yes, is that called a partnership? In the cricket commentary, do you call this a partnership? When two batsmen come together for batting. I want you guys to go answer me in the chat section, otherwise I'll not know that you guys are interacting. The last message I can see is of Shweta. After that, I don't see any messages. Okay? Chat is disabled. Just 1 second. Is chat disabled or something? Okay, common chat is disabled. Just give me 1 minute. Okay. Just okay, just 1 second. We're just fixing that, okay, so that I can see all of your replies. Everyone click பண்ணுங்க. அதுல இவ்ளோ நேரமா இவ்ளோ சாட்ஸ் வந்துட்டு இருந்தது. இப்போதான் ஸ்டாப் ஆச்சு. Okay guys, I think you can do it now. You will be able to see it, okay? Just when you chat, you have to put it to everyone and not specifically to me. Otherwise, I'll not be able to see your messages. Okay, just in case. Okay. So the reason is because now look at this. In a cricket, when two batsmen are batting, we call that also a partnership. A relationship between a boy and girl, that is also called a partnership. But does that all partnership mean the partnership act? No. Here when we say partnership, it is the definition that is given in the act. Right? You have a definition which says that two or more people are coming together to form a business where one will be acting for others. So all this definition is what the partnership here means. So to signify that, only we write the first letter always as capital. Are you able to understand, guys? Yeah? Why do we write it as capital? Because we want to say, உனக்கு தெரிஞ்ச dictionary meaningலாம் இங்க partnershipக்கு கிடையாது. உனக்கு தெரிஞ்ச companies meaningலாம் இங்க companiesக்கு கிடையாது. Whatever meaning you think of a contract is not the meaning here. Please go read in section number 2. அதுல ஒரு definition கொடுப்பான். அந்த definition தான் நீ consider பண்ணும். அதை சொல்றதுக்காக தான் எப்பவுமே ஒரு act எழுதும்போது first letters are always written in capital. Because you do not know the significance, whenever you are doing your answer writing practice in SAP, you are not giving importance to this. If I was an examiner and I see you writing in small, I will definitely cut half a mark. Because it is not a mistake, it's a conceptual error. Are you able to understand? When you say I'm losing marks, but I'm writing all concepts, but எனக்கு ஏன் mark cut பண்றாங்க அப்படினு தெரியல அப்படினு நீ சொல்லும்போது, it's because you are not focusing on this minute parts. Are you able to understand, guys? Give me at least a thumbs up. Are you able to understand the difference? Yes, it is because now you understand. So இனிமேல் நீ என்னைக்கு எந்த ஆன்சரை எழுதினாலும் you should always write the first letters in capital. The Companies Act எழுதுற 2013 என்ன C should be capital. Act ஓட A should be capital. Ma'am, Act ஓட A ஏன் capital ஆ இருக்கணும்? Now for example, here in this class today there's nobody because it's an online class, but if let's say there were people here, okay, and I pass a water bottle to you, is that an act? Yes, that is an action, correct? But is that act the act in Companies Act? No. In Companies Act, act means law. But me passing on a bottle to you is also an action. That is also an act. But in Companies Act, we are trying to say, no, அந்த அர்த்தம்லாம் கிடையாது. It means law. That is the reason you write act or A also in capital. Are you able to understand the difference now? What is the significance of writing things in caps? It's because it says that don't take any general meaning. You have to go to the section 2 of that particular act. Section 2 of any act is called the definition section. If you open any act, the Contract Act, Companies Act, yella act leme, section 2 la nee poi pathina, there'll be a lot of definitions. So you need to read those definitions, interpret them, and that is what you need to use to read and study the law. To tell that only we write everything in capital. We write the name of the act in capital. Is that clear? Is that clear, guys? Okay, so that's the first basics that I wanted to tell you. The second important mistake that I noted that you guys were doing is, it's a common mistake. People usually do it. Whenever you're defining something, for example, contract act ni eludra, adla you want to define what is a contract, or you want to define an agreement, you want to define a consideration. Like this, let's say you want to give definitions. You are writing as contract is defined as, or contract is known as. Ibdinla ni eludra. Is this correct? Tell me in chat box, is this correct? Contract is defined as. Nee edho or answer eludre. In that answer you want to specify something about the contract. You want to give a definition of contract. You are writing like this. Is this correct? It is not correct. It is not correct. Why it is not correct? Ma'am, correct only. In school also we used to write business studies definition like this only. An organization is known as, like that only we used to write. What is so wrong about this? A lot of you are saying wrong, but tell me why it is wrong. Why it is wrong? I see a lot of your SAP papers you have written like this. Because it's your first 2 exams, it's okay. That is why we are here, okay? We want to tell you, you know concepts, but how you write also makes a difference. Are you able to understand? A lot of you are telling, ma'am, I have studied the whole 55 pages of Companies Act. I did all the book back questions, but still when I write SAP, no, I end up getting only 40% or 35%. It is because you are not focusing on the bigger picture. It's not just about reading that books that matters. You need to understand, you need to work on your presentation. Okay? Because no matter, see, attending class is the first part that you all have done. You all have attended classes now. The second part is how you are going to revise it. Okay, that makes all the difference, right? You have the next 70 days, and when you write the exam in January, the examiner does not know that Shweta has attended, let's say, 200 hours of class. Okay, that Pawan has attended 500 hours of class. The examiner does not know that. He just has 7 minutes to correct your paper. That will decide whether you will be sitting in CA intermediate or again you will be studying your foundation course. Are you able to understand? So you need to impress the examiner in 7 minutes. For that, you need to put your best foot forward. No matter how much well you practice during your net practice, if you do not perform during the game, does that matter? Will we tell, no, I saw the practice sessions in TV and all when, Virat was performing, he did really well. That day something went wrong. Will you excuse him? No, what matters is on that day of match, he should be able to perform. What you practice does not matter. Are you able to understand? So you need to be strategic. If first round நீ முடிச்சிட்ட, first round class attend பண்றது, class பார்க்கிறது, இதெல்லாம் நீ முடிச்சிட்ட. Now we need to focus on how better are you going to present it. How do I revise in 1.5 days? That makes all the difference. Because இப்போ நான் உனக்கு 10 நாள் கொடுத்துட்டு நீ அதுக்கப்புறம் law paper எழுத நீ எல்லாருமே பாஸ் ஆவ. I know that. But you don't have 10 days. You just have 1.5 days to prepare, correct? After you come from your exam, you just have 1.5 days. Adhulaiyum 1.5 days la effective 18 hours da padikka mudiyum. You have to sleep and all in between, no, continuously apde padichite irpiya. That's not possible, right? You have to come from the previous exam, you have to sleep and all of that. So effectively 18 hours da padikka mudiyum. And the 18 hours la na 7 act padikino. I need to study in such a way that whatever I studied in the last 2.5 months in revision plus 4 months of class, I should be able to cumulatively revise it. And trust me when I say one thing in CA exams, do not skip any chapter. There is no ABC analysis like how we had in 12th standard. Remember blueprint? They will give no partnership for 10 marks, Companies Act for 10 marks. Okay, BRS for these many marks. No such blueprint. If anyone is giving you that blueprint, it is not 100%. That is at your own risk that you're doing. That's why none of us give blueprints. There is no structure. There is no such blueprint that is available. There is only one blueprint, that is you have to study all 7 chapters. Whenever any student comes and asks me, ma'am, tell me ABC analysis, there is only a part of that, and that is all the 7 chapters. Okay, there is no ABC analysis. So if anybody is doing that, don't do it. That is the last resort. 10 days before the exam, I can do that. You cannot do it now. You still have 75 days. Even if you haven't studied any act, you still have time to study it. Okay, so you need to study the full syllabus, and you need to work a little bit on your presentation and your concepts. That is more than sufficient. Are you able to get that? Okay, now let me focus on this part. What was wrong in this? A contract is defined as, a contract is known as. If you write anything like this, it is wrong. Okay, I think now chat is possible. I think you can do now chat to everyone, okay, so that I'll also be able to see. Okay, cool. And the every month to press pannidunga so that I'll be able to. Okay, perfect, thank you. Okay, so what is the mistake? Yeah, I am also able to see all of your chats. You can chat in everyone so that I'll be able to see that. What is wrong in this? Coming back to this, what is wrong? Contract is defined as, contract is known as. It is not defined by a certain person. Okay, correct. Okay. Is there anything else? இந்த மாதிரி எழுதுறதுல என்ன தப்பு இருக்கு? நம்ம business studiesலாம் இப்படி தானே எழுதுவோம் 12th standardலலாம். Beautifully we'll write and we'll get 5 marks. What is wrong in this? It is actually the wrong way of presentation. Why it is the wrong way of presentation அப்படினா, act is not given by, as somebody pointed out correctly, it is not given by an individual person. Okay, so act are defined. If you see, have you seen section number 2 of any act? அதுல நிறைய definitions இருக்கும். Okay, so all the definitions that are there in law, you take any act, Companies Act, Contract Act, they will only start with 2 words. Either means or includes. நீ எந்த definition வேணாலும் எடுத்து பார்த்துக்கோ. Whether you see agreement or a definition, contract or a definition, companies or a definition, private company or a definition, any definition you take up and see, it only starts with 2 words. It will either start with means or it will either start with includes. Have you noticed this? If not, at least look at your definitions now. Have you noticed this? Either starts with means or either starts with includes. Yeah? Why? There are 2 meanings of means and includes. Whenever I write a definition, for example, the definition of company, a definition of company, if you know, it is defined in section 2, clause 20, it says company means a company. Company means a company, and there's a long definition which we will read later, but for now just see that company means a company. அப்படினா means னு எழுதுனாங்கன்னா அதுக்கு என்ன அர்த்தம்னா இத தவிர வேற மீனிங்கே கிடையாது. It is exhaustive. It is exhaustive. Whenever something starts with means, that means it is exhaustive. Exhaustive na, it is complete. இதுக்கு வெல்ல எதுவுமே கிடையாது. That's what we mean whenever we write means. Whenever any definition starts with means, it usually says that it is an exhaustive definition. But when your definition starts with the word includes la start ஆச்சுனா, that means it is not exhaustive. Ma'am, what does it mean? Give me an example. I didn't understand. For example, I say human being includes girls. Does that mean boys are not humans? I say human being includes girls. Does that mean boys are not humans? No, right? No, right? It means that girls are also human, boys are also human. Are you able to understand? So when I say exactly. So whenever you write the word includes, it means it is not an exhaustive definition. நாங்க examples கொடுக்கிறோம். If you want, you can expand the definition. Are you able to understand the difference? But when I write means, it means that you cannot go outside this. A company means a company incorporated under this act or any other previous company law. That's the definition, right? Under section 2, clause 20. The definition is a company means a company incorporated under this act or any other previous company law. There cannot be any other definition to this. Are you able to understand? Are you able to understand? People are saying my volume is a little less. Kindly check in your phone. I think more than the mic, I am shouting, okay? So I think it should be audible. But just once check from your end as well. Yeah? So whenever you write a definition, you cannot write it as defined as, also known as, it is understood as. No. You need to quote what is given in section number 2. I cannot change my own definitions. Definitions you can't write in your own words. But whenever you write interpretations, conclusion, answer, which we'll be learning on it's okay, I'll teach you, okay, how to write conclusion, how to write a case study answer, I'll teach you all of that. When you write that, interpretation analysis can be in your own words. There is no restriction on that. But whenever you define something, it has to be as per the definition given in section number 2. Okay, somebody is asking what is exhaustive. Sarvesh, I told you exhaustive means it is complete, nothing outside that. The definition is a complete definition. Okay, there are no exceptions. That is what you mean when you say exhaustive. Okay, whenever means it starts with, that means the definition is exhaustive. Whenever it starts with includes, that means the definition is inclusive. Abdina, more things can be included in this. Are you able to understand? Second mistake that I noticed. Okay, these are smaller mistakes which you need to correct while you are doing your revisions. Okay, that is why you do revisions. Okay, one more. I will just write something. I want you guys to write in a chat box. How will you read that out? For example, I give a section and I write 4(2)(a). How will you read this out? Can you tell me in the chat box, how will you read this out? I write section 4(2)(a). How do you read this out? Okay, somebody is telling, yeah, I'm getting the right answers. It is section 4, subsection 2, clause A. Very good, excellent. Whoever said section 4, subsection 2, clause A. It is absolutely the correct answer. It is absolutely the correct answer. Okay, if you don't know, it's okay. You don't know, we are here to learn that only. It is section 4, subsection 2, clause A. Now let's suppose I add one more I to this. What will this I be called as? It's the Roman number, okay? I add this. What will this be called as? Section 4, subsection 2, clause A. Excellent. It's the subclause. It's the subclause. Okay? Very good, very good. Whoever is telling subclause, it is the right answer. Okay? Now let me do a little bit of variation. Tell me now. How is this called as? Okay, I am getting a lot of answers. I am getting section 2, clause A. Section 2, clause A. Is it right? Section 2, clause A. Is it right or wrong? A lot of you are telling me, ma'am, this is section 2, clause A. Some are telling section 2, subsection A. Okay. Some are telling section 2, clause A. Why I correct? Section 4, subsection 2, clause A, subclause 1. Idella correct. 2 section A, clause 2. Sorry, section 2, clause A. Why are you changing alone for this section 2? This you told absolutely correct. 4 was absolutely correct. Why you change this 2? Alphabet is clause. Okay. Aishwarya is telling alphabet is clause. Okay, that's one way of remembering it. What is the other reason? Any reason? Do you want to change your answer? Do you want to change your answer? Ma'am, no. Now we understood, ma'am. It is wrong. It should be section 2, subsection A. Do you want to change your answer or you lock your answer? You still think it's section 2, clause A? Yes? Okay. But do you know the reason or you don't know the reason? You know what the answer is, but you know the reason. You know the reasoning behind it. You know the reasoning? Okay. Now we are here to learn the reason. That's why we are here, right? So the reason behind it is, for example, இப்போ நீ contract act நீங்க எல்லாரும் படிச்சிருக்கீங்க, correct? Contract Act, whenever I write, நீ வந்து அதில் நிறைய டெஃபினேஷன்ஸ் படிச்சிருப்பா. ஃபார் எக்ஸாம்பிள் கம்பெனிஸ் ஆக்டில் நிறைய டெஃபினேஷன் இருக்கு. டெஃபினேஷன் ஆஃப் அ கம்பெனி, ப்ரைவேட் கம்பெனி, ஓபிசி, அந்த மாதிரி நிறைய டெஃபினேஷன்ஸ் இருக்கு. கரெக்டா? Now in, let's suppose in Contract Act there is a definition of contract, then there is a definition of agreement, then let's say there's also definition of consideration. If you have studied your unit number 2 talks about only consideration. Now tell me, should I read all these definitions independently or should I interlink them? Should I read them independently or should I interlink them? Should I read them independently? Understand my question. When I read the definition of contract, should I also confuse it with agreement, or agreement is different, contract is different? Agreement is different, contract is different, correct? Okay, people were telling interlink, you didn't understand my question. My question was, whenever I'm reading or this might be confusing, if Contract Act is confusing for you, take this, Companies Act. Companies Act, நீ private company ஓட definition படிக்கிற. அதுக்கப்புறம் public company க்கு ஒரு definition இருக்கு. அதுக்கப்புறம் one person company க்கு ஒரு definition இருக்கு, in which only one person is a member. இப்போ இதெல்லாம் வந்து நீ வந்து சேர்த்து படிப்பியா? Is private company and public company the same, or it is all different? You should read each and every point differently. You should read it independently, correct? To tell that only, it is given as clause. Because what is a section and a subsection? Section and a subsection is nothing but like a topic and a subtopic. Correct? Are you able to understand? A section and a subsection is like a topic and a subtopic. But is this topic and subtopic? No. Private company is some other definition. Public company is some other definition. Are they related with each other? No. Correct? You need to read the definition of private company separately, interpret it, then read the definition of public company separately, interpret it, and read OPC separately. Are you supposed to link them? Are you supposed to mix it up? No. But when I say section, subsection, it means it's a topic and a subtopic. Are you able to understand? For example, company is a topic. Features of a company is a subtopic. Now these both are related. Are these related? No, these are not related. To signify that only they told, don't say section and subsection, because that will mean that they are related. Say it is a section followed by a clause. This exception is only given for section number 2. No other section you will read section clause. All sections it will follow how? Section, subsection, clause, subclause. But only for section number 2 we read it as section followed by a clause. Because we want to tell the readers or the users of the law that this definition is different from this definition. The second definition is different from the third definition. Do not mix it up. To tell that only we call it as section and a clause. Is it clear now? Is it clear now? Ma'am, why are you telling that? Why are you telling all of these points? Is it needed for me to become a chartered accountant? Yes, very much yes. If you are a BCom candidate, this is not needed. If you know how to write this itself, that is section 2 clause and solla therinjale, we will consider you to be great. If you are a BCom. If you are a BCom. But you are not a BCom. You are here to become auditors, right? You need to know it. Tomorrow, if somebody comes up to you and gives you you have become an auditor, you decided to practice, and there's a new GST law that has come up, okay? And your client is coming and asking you, ma'am, can you just interpret what this amendment is all about? And you are reading this as section followed by a subsection. Class 2 நீ அப்படி அவன் முன்னாடி படிக்கிற, அவனுக்கு கொஞ்சம் law தெரிஞ்சிருக்குன்னு வெச்சுக்கோ. அடுத்த தடவை உன்கிட்ட வருவாரா அவன்? You tell me, will he come back to you as your client? Obviously, no, you don't even know how to read the law. What filing will you do for me? What audit will you do for me? Are you able to understand? When you are a professional, that is what is the difference. In BCom, we don't expect. You know this is section followed by a clause itself, you are great, you are class topper. But in professional courses, no. You need to understand the meaning of it. Now, when you understood, it makes sense. Like, ஆமாம்பா, contract act la contract ku வேற definition. Agreement படிக்கும்போது agreement தான் படிக்கணும். Consideration படிக்கும்போது அதோட definition தான் படிக்கணும். இது மூணுத்துக்குமே எதுவும் interlink கிடையாது. இதெல்லாம் subtopics கிடையாது. So, அதை நம்ம section, subsection சொன்னோம்னா அது confusing-ஆ இருக்கும். அதனால section number 2க்கு மட்டும் என்ன சொல்லியிருக்காங்க? First tell section and then tell clause. So that everybody knows இது எல்லாமே independent-ஆ தான் படிக்கணும். அப்படிங்கிறதுக்காக தான் you write it like that. Is that clear? Okay. Excellent, excellent. Are you able to understand the purpose of this batch? Okay, I had a visual, we were supposed to do it in my PPT, but since we had some technical issues, I'm not able to display the PPT today, but it's okay, we'll be able to do that tomorrow. That has a better, I had some comical representation of all of this, but that's okay. We'll do that in the next class. We'll make sure we arrange for you a green screen and everything, and that's possible. Are you able to understand? Are you able to, did you get at least any 2 extra points that you did not know earlier? I hope I'm not wasting your time. It is some extra points which you did not know earlier. Okay, my purpose is to come every day, sit with you, okay, and not teach you this. We'll jump into the subject. Quickly we'll jump into the subject, but my purpose is to make you realize that we need to get exam ready. Okay, what we learnt in class are concepts which are great, but for clearing law paper, you need a little bit of tricky, smart work. It needs to be required. Because if you see in CA Foundation, there are only 4 papers that you have. One is your accounts, another is economics, then law, followed by mathematics. Correct? In the 4 paper da irukku. In all the paper, you need to score a passing mark of 40 plus your aggregate has to exceed 200. Correct? This is the criteria. Correct? Now in this, naturally, a lot of students will be good at accountancy. Okay, that is why you would have taken the course. Okay, even if you're not that good, it is an easy subject. You can tackle it very easily. There's nothing. Every debit has a corresponding credit. Anyway, your balance sheet should tally. That's what I tell all my students. Being an auditor, you can never say my balance sheet does not tally. Okay, because every debit there's a credit. How can you, maybe you missed out an entry. உனக்கு புரியுதா? இப்போ நீ ஒரு என்ட்ரிக்கு அட்ஜஸ்ட்மெண்ட்டே போடலை அப்படின்னா டெபிட்டும் வராது கிரெடிட்டும் வராது. So that is not a problem. Anyway, your balance sheet will tally, but your total will be wrong. அவ்வளவுதான். But you need to be this much smart, at least saying that every debit has a credit, definitely my balance sheet should tally. So accounts is an easier subject and understood conceptually, which I am sure you have learned in your class, it is more easy and enjoyable as a subject. I tell you tricks also how to manage all of this, okay? You still have 70 days, so relax. This is naturally a very easy subject. Economics. This is your booster paper. For CA Foundation students, which is your booster paper? Economics is your booster paper. Because what you're studying here, your demand, supply, this and all, you studied in your 11th, 12th itself, correct? It's not something new that you're doing here. You have studied all of this in the graph board, the indifferent, elasticity, all of these things you have done before itself. At least அங்க வந்து நீ எழுதணும். இங்க அப்பலாம் கிடையாது, சும்மா டிக் அடிச்சிட்டு தான் வரணும். It is more easy. Let's put my paper for a pause and let's go to max. Now you will be like, ma'am, if you tell max is easy, from there itself we'll come and beat you. Correct? I understand. Max is not a naturally good paper for everybody. It depends on person to person. Okay, some people like max, some people don't like max. If you ask me, in my CA Foundation, which paper did I find more difficult? This only. Because see, I didn't understand why we do a differentiation and integration. Okay, what is the purpose for me? I even after becoming an auditor, you will never understand. Where do we use differentiation? Maybe for physics people it is useful. For auditors, what in balance sheet you will draw a parabola. How is it even useful for us? We don't know, but still it is part of our syllabus. It is there for 10-15 marks, differentiation, integration, we have to study. Okay, we'll put that. But here also there's a trick. Even ICI knows that mathematics is not everybody's paper. That is why they divided that into 3 sections. They gave one called that pure math, another is your statistics, another is your logical reasoning. Correct? Now statistics is the easiest here because if you know formula, you can do statistics. If a mean, median, mode, nal formula da idala nee padikka mattiya. If you apply in that formula, you will get value. Okay? Then comes logical reasoning. At least I can expect little bit of logic you will be able to do. Okay, that blood relation, that and all you will be able to do only, Noda. What is so difficult in that? Anyways, you are good at making relationships. So blood relation, those chapter and all you should know. Okay, there are some easier chapters. I understand in logical reasoning, not everything is easy, but there are some selective chapters. Now moving on to the big difficulty part, math. I understand it's a headache, but in that also there are some easy chapters like ratio, proportion. You have ratio, proportion. I think still it should be there. It was there in my time itself. It should be there now. Ratio and proportion. Where in a chapters la irukku. You have some other chapters also that I don't know if you have that in the circle chapter la podme. What is that called? Finding out this and all. There's one chapter like this, no? Finding out, I forgot what's that called. Sets. Yeah, you have sets. Like that you have 2, 3 easy chapters. Okay, your differentiation you leave for last. That is difficult. Others and all are easy. Some are very easy chapters. And this ratio proportional definitely has 4 to 6 marks, if you have seen. Okay, so like this you can somehow manage this. Now coming to the most trickiest part is law. Because it's a new subject. I have not studied in my 11th and 12th. Understandable. But that is also a bonus that it will not just be difficult for you, it will be difficult for everybody, correct? உனக்கு மட்டும் இது புதுசு இல்லை இங்கே எழுதுகிற எல்லாருக்குமே இப்போ இந்தியாவிலே 1 lakh people are writing CA Foundation JAN'26 na for all 1 lakh people law is a new subject. None of them have studied it before. So that is an easy way, no? But for mathematics I cannot say like that. There might be some people in your class in your 12th standard and all, they are pro at mathematics. அப்படியே ஆர்டி சர்மாவே கரைச்சி குடிச்சிருப்பாங்க. You are not like that maybe. We only do miscellaneous activities that are there. And the bookலேயே ஒரு questions கொடுப்பாங்களே அதான் நம்ம பண்ணிட்டு போவோம். It's okay, you can still pass with that. But law is a completely new paper for everyone. Okay, so it is easy if you have the right strategy. What people do mistakes is, one mistake I see people doing is switching materials. Switching materials. Ma'am, my friend told that this book of this author is great, ma'am. So I will study Companies Act from that book. I'll study Contract Act from ICI material. Yoga Act for my class notes. You will do all this nonsense. Okay, first of all, reject that. No need to have 10 materials. Okay, one thing that I've learned in my 3 levels of CA is that, have you seen this in Instagram and all or Facebook? You have seen people once they clear the CA exams, they pile up all the books they read and then they take a photograph. Have you seen that? I'm sure you also want to do that. Okay, I've seen that it will be taller than them. The stack of books will be taller than them and then they take a photograph. What is so perima about it? It shows you have been tortured for 5 years. Yeah? What is so great about it? We don't want to do that. We want to study only one material, one question bank. So I will tell all my students, if you have 4 subjects in CA Foundation, 4 materials to study concept, plus 4 question bank, 8 மேல book தேவையே இல்லை. Others, all that you are doing is unnecessary. Okay? You don't need any other book. If you have ordered the ICAI material, the mandatory material that the ICAI gives you, that is more than sufficient. The question. ஓகே, எந்த ஆத்தர் நானே சொல்கிறேன், நானே நாளைக்கு ஏதோ புக்கு எடுத்துகிட்டு வந்து இதுக்கு நான் தான் ஆத்தர், இந்த புக்கை வாங்கினா ஐ வில் டெல் யூ டோன்ட் பை. Okay, if you are somebody who is struggling to study the ICI material, then it's a different story. And that too, you need to do that only before last 1 month of exam, not now. You still have time to go and read it. Ma'am, I don't know how to read the ICI textbook, ma'am. I start reading law, ma'am. Second page itself, I go in next level dreams, ma'am. If that's your situation, then we'll discuss how to deal with that. If you're finding it sleepy or something, we'll discuss how to deal with that. Okay, that can be solved. That can be solved, but you need one book, one question bank, one concept book, enough. Because whatever you study, 1.5 days before exam, can you study all of that? Can you study 10 books? Not possible. So something that you cannot do 1.5 days before exam, why waste time now? Don't do now also. Easy? Okay, it's not about hard work. I should study for 12 hours, 16 hours. You are humans only, how you will do that? Not possible. Okay, at foundation level, not possible. CA inter final, yes, you will have to study for more than 12 hours. Mandatorily study for more than 12 hours, then only you will pass. CA foundation level, 8 hours if you can push 10 hours. But when I say 8 effective hours, not that in 8 hours, after every 10 minutes you take a 20-minute break, then that is not effective study. Okay, effectively if you can do 8 hours plus, if you can push it to 10 hours during the last month, more than sufficient. You don't have to sacrifice your life. You are doing CA. You are not joined Indian Army. Okay, you give up on life and everything. Okay, so first of all, stop. The most problem with CA students is they complicate things on their head, as if you only have the whole burden of your whole life. As if you are only going to lift it. Everyone is doing. Okay, there are people whom you have seen interviews of toppers, whatever they study, they'll always tell, நான் 4 மணி நேரம் தான் படித்தேன், நான் படிக்கவே இல்லை, எக்ஸாமுக்கு 1 மாதம் முன்னாடி. Maybe half of that is bluffing, but if you know, smart strategies can always help you clear. And smart strategy does not mean leaving 3 chapters and going. No, that is not smart, that is stupid. Okay, smart strategy is covering everything, but covering effectively. If some chapter is very difficult, like differentiation, at least formulas you should know, at least basics you should know. Either differentiation easy question at least that you should be able to attempt. Okay, that is what smart study is. That is what we are going to do for the next 70 days. Okay, I am hoping all of your classes are done, right? You all are in your revision phase, am I right? Except for 1 or 2 classes you might be having. Correct? Most of you are in your revision phase. Correct, where you are completely available the whole day, 8 hours to study and prepare for your SAP. Correct, most of you. Just 1 second. Okay. So now in 8 hours, you are in revision phase. Excellent. So you still have 8 hours a day. Okay, in which I am telling 6 to 8 hours you can sleep. Ma'am, no, I will sleep for 12 hours. Then you please join in some zoo. Okay, with bear you do hibernation if you want to sleep 12 hours and all. 8 hours to 6 hours if you sleep, enough. Your brain will start working properly. Okay, you don't need to sleep 12 hours. Okay, are we all in sleep mode? Okay, that's the reason we don't leave you for this. We don't complete the batch very early. Nalla thoongita adu now Chennai climate is also turned like some Ooty climate, okay? Half of the time it's raining, half of the time it's, it is going to kaalale paatha saayindram mari irukku. Okay, so that's the reason you need to be a little more active. So the first thing I will tell is, you can be a morning person or you can be a night person, that depends. Now ma'am, what does that mean? Some people like studying in the morning, some people, for them night is a suitable time. Whatever is your timing, you choose that. Okay, and you need to effectively sit and study for 8 hours a day. How I need to divide my 8 hours of days? You need to, if you're weak at math, this is for people who are weak at math. For example, if you were like me, ma'am, was your math so bad? Yes, little bit bad, okay? But I managed with other subjects, okay? I got exemption in all papers, so don't tell like that, okay? So, accounts. Okay. Okay, just 1 second, okay? Water break. Okay. Accounts. You need to write. You need to do practice of accounts. At least the final accounts. I am not telling simple like some things like sales book podradha. Adalla if you do, if you can even do 1 or 2 sums, okay. But final accounts, some or partnerships, some or companies act, some you should practice. So at least 3 hours to 4 hours you have to do accountancy a day. Okay, if you are having an 8-hour schedule. Then your law, eco, math. Let's say this is 3 hours. Okay, I'm putting a schedule if you're going to study for 10 hours. Okay, this is 3. I'm going to put another 3 to 4 here. This I will need 3 hours every day. This 2 to 3. Okay, I'm not stressing much. Math, you need to at least give how many you have. Let's say effectively 3, 3, 2. You have 6, 8. So again, just put, you need to push it to 4 hours at least. Okay, depending on which you're good at. Okay, every day need not be a accounts day, every day need not be a math day. Maybe one day you can do only math, law, economics, and other day you can do only accounts, law, economics. But what you need to keep having constantly is law and economics. Why law and economics? Because law is a theory paper. If you don't read every day, you will keep forgetting. Economics, scorer paper. Okay, this will save you. This will help you get that, that, what do you say, aggregate. It will help you push that. Even if you do have some mistakes in law and some mistakes in maths where you end up in 40, 45, this will, if this is your 70, this will give you your aggregate for 200 plus. Are you able to understand? So you need to work on your strengths. So your 2 strengths, if you're great at accountancy, then good. Because accounts is also strong, economics is naturally strong. Law, I will work for you. I will guarantee 60 plus. Okay, I'm saying it on record, this is getting recorded. We guarantee 60 plus provided you sit in my class every day for the next 70 days. Not that you sit today, then ma'am, I'll come after 4 days once you complete Companies Act. Then I will not guarantee 10 marks also. Okay? Okay, it's just 7 chapters and you can easily tackle it. And in that, if you focus on Contract Act, Partnership and SOGA are butter. They are nothing. Because Contract Act, because partnership is what? A special type of contract. Sales of goods is what? A special type of contract. That's it. So if Indian Contract Act is strong, Companies Act is strong, LLP is kutti. Okay, some theory part is only LLP. All full, it is only process based. Nothing is there in LLP Act. Correct? 2-3 features இருக்கும். அதுக்கப்புறம் எப்படி LLP ரெஜிஸ்டர் பண்ணும், அது டிசால்வ் ஆனா என்ன பண்ணும், இந்த மாதிரி மொக்கையா இருக்கும். LLP is so easy. It's not even if you study regular batch more than 4 hours, there's nothing to take in LLP Act. Okay, அது தவிர புதுசா உனக்கு இப்போ இன்டர்ல இருந்து ஷிஃப்ட் ஆகி there's negotiable instruments that is there. Correct? This is what your syllabus is all about. So it is easily manageable. First thing that we are going to target is your Companies Act. Okay, that is what I'm going to do because I think that is what you have been scheduled to write your SAP for. Correct? On the upcoming Sunday, your SAP is going to be on your Companies Act. So every week what I will target is what is your next week SAP, that is what we will cover for the whole week. Okay? In this I will also do with you the questions. Okay, now your major problem is, ma'am, concepts we already learned. Concepts will brush up. I'll exam oriented way, I'll revise all concepts. Then we will sit and we will do the question bank. How you should write, what mistakes you are making, which questions are being repeated mostly, how you need to prepare that 1.5-day planner. We will prepare with you. If a Companies Act na exam ku munadi maximum you can give Companies Act how many hours? 4 hours you can study Companies Act. அவ்வளவு தான் படிக்க முடியும். அந்த 4 hours கான்செப்ட் என்னெல்லாம் படிக்கணும், எந்த important questionsலாம் ஒரு தடவை பார்த்துக்கணும். That's it. For that we will be working. Are you able to understand? அந்த மாதிரி எல்லா ஆக்ட்டுமே கான்ட்ராக்ட் ஆக்ட்னா ஒரு அட்லீஸ்ட் ஒரு 5 to 6 hours ஒரு கான்ட்ராக்ட் ஆக்ட் படிக்கணும். ஸோ கான்ட்ராக்ட் ஆக்ட்ல என்னெல்லாம் படிக்கணுங்கிறத we will be doing. Quick revision, then question, then we'll do ABC analysis of question. ABC analysis of questions, not chapters. What do you mean by ABC analysis? Once we do a question, if it's very easy, if it's completely direct, like a differentiation question, difference between a contract and an agreement, அந்த மாதிரி questionலாம் it's a C category question. You need not see before exam because you will know the concept, right? You can write it. A B category question is, ma'am, இந்த questionல எல்லாமே easy, இந்த ஒரே ஒரு case studyல இந்த ஒரே ஒரு point தான் இருக்கு, இது மட்டும் புரிஞ்சிச்சுனா I'll be able to solve the whole question. That's a B category question. That you will see now, you will see before writing your SAP, you will see before writing a model. அவ்வளவுதான், you need not see it before writing the main exam. A category questions are special and unique question which was like say first time asked in exam. பார்த்துட்டு போலனா இது பண்றது கொஞ்சம் கஷ்டம் அப்படிங்கிறதுலாம் A category. Are you able to understand? So we will do this ABC analysis. So C category you should filter out because those are direct questions. அதுக்கெல்லாம் எப்படி மேம் ஃபில்டர் அவுட் பண்றது, எனக்கு கான்ஃபிடன்ஸே வராது. நான் எப்படின்னா எனக்கு எல்லா क्वेश्चंसே பார்க்கணும். I will tell you a trick how to do markings with your book so that you cover your questions also with the book concepts itself. I give you tricks for that. Okay, that's what we are going to do in the next 8 hours for Companies Act. Like that we'll cover questions, concepts I'll cover with you. After my 2 hours session every day or whenever it is scheduled, you're supposed to go next day morning and read that concept for 1 hour, then come to my class. Are you able to understand? And you all have been added to your respective WhatsApp groups, correct? In that WhatsApp group, every day starting from today onwards, I will be starting from today, or in case we are not able to cover enough concepts today, from tomorrow onwards, I will put one question for which you need to do mandatory writing practice. 60 days, 60 questions. So we call it the 60 days pledge. Okay? So my class have been effectively planned for next 60 days. Okay? Leaving all the breaks that you might be having in between your SAP day, we will not be having class. Adallam uttona, next 60 days we will be doing 60 questions, which is called the 60 days pledge. Ma'am, 60 questions mattum poduma, enoda bookla 500 questions irukku. First you do 60, no? First you do 60, then we will go for 500. In that repeat questions and all will be there. No? If you eliminate all of that, effectively you will have 100, 150 questions only, including all the acts. So we will try to cover all of those as well. Okay, that is what we have effectively planned for you. The next thing that we have planned for you that I'll be doing a little at the end of the week is before you go for a SAP, I'll give you audio revisions. Okay, something like how you listen to your songs, like that you can plug in those revisions and listen. So what I do in the class we talk a lot of things, right? I do interact with you. But eliminating all that interaction, I'll sit and record effective revisions, like 15 minutes full Companies Act. Quickly I'll be telling this is the concept, this is the concept, like that I'll keep on telling so that before you go for your main exam, இந்த தடவை சாப்புக்கு உட்காரத்துக்கு முன்னாடி அதை ஒரு தடவை கேளு 15 நிமிஷம். Then you see your notes, then you see question bank, you can go and sit in SAP. Are you able to understand? So the only thing we are not doing here is instead of you writing the exam, that's the only thing we have not done yet. Other than that, we will do everything that is in our capacity to make sure that you all score more than 60 marks, okay, specifically in law. Because if you are able to manage law and CA foundation, you have cleared CA foundation. Because other papers, the only paper other than that can get tough is mathematics, which is okay. In that, 40 mark வாங்குற மாதிரி கூட நான் படிக்க மாட்டேன். Whenever I used to feel any subject tough, in any of my levels, foundation, intermediate, final, I asked myself only one thing. ஒரு 40 மார்க் வாங்குற அளவு கூடமா நமக்கு லா தெரியாது? ஒரு 40 மார்க் வாங்குற அளவு கூடமா உனக்கு காஸ்டிங்கோ எஃப்எம்ஓ தெரியாது? You'll be knowing something. All chapters you might not be a pro, I understand. None of us are. Okay, even today you ask me, ma'am, tell me this provision of tax. Maybe I don't know, I would have forgotten, I have to go and read it. That happens with everybody. But exam oriented, we have to prepare. Okay, one more thing I need from your end is, you will have to reduce your screen time. Okay, I don't know what is your screen time now. Do you watch, go and sit and watch, ma'am, finish the class fast, ma'am, 9 o'clock Big Boss will come, we have to watch. Reduce all of that. Okay, you need to control yourself. I'm not telling completely eliminate, today switch off your mobile. That's not possible. I understand that's not possible. Okay, you have to eventually do that, but day one it is not possible. Slowly we will do. Okay, if you're somebody who's very used to having 2-3 hours of screen time, you cannot clear CA with such, it can either be entertainment or it can either be that. Today you study, trust me, today, if you ask me today, if I have to go somewhere out, I have to do something, I don't have to think so much, correct? It's because we put that efforts from our foundation, intermediate to final, that today we can do whatever we want, wherever we want, we can travel. That independence and that financial liberty you will have once you complete this. Ma'am, all of my friends, I see them on Instagram putting stories, bunking classes, not going for BCom classes. I feel that, I am missing out on something. Trust me, people who were with me at school, who ended up doing just BCom, are today also struggling. They see us and they are like, oh my God, I wish I would have done that. But now we all are 26, 27. It's not possible for them to go back and do all of that. Okay, so you are at a prime phase where you can study. It's not that difficult. That's the reason we are doing this. Every day, if I'm being in touch, if 247 students you are today sitting in the Zoom live and watching this class, imagine you are just one institute. There are so many other institutes, there are so many other students who are going to sit with you and write the exam. And you know how CA exams are. I'm not scaring you, but if 100% of you write, 10% will only clear. That is the reality, correct? We all know that. But you have to enter that 10%. That should be your aim. For that, you have to work for the next 70 days. Is it possible, ma'am? I don't know anything in any of the subjects. It is still possible. Okay, we have had students like that who have not studied for the whole time. Last 1.5 months, they put their best and they clear. That is also possible. We have seen students who have studied, attended all classes, and then also not been able to clear. So the magic lies in the approach. If your approach is right, you will definitely clear. Okay, one thing I can tell you, being from the same field, I have also written all of these levels of exam. So it's not something that I don't understand and I'm just standing here and talking. I know what that pressure feels like. I know especially when there is something like a Diwali and only you are not able to celebrate and your mind is on, you want to go and enjoy, but again it says that no, ipa padichikalam. I understand all that dilemma. All of us have faced that. It's very normal. Okay, there's nothing great about it. Okay, so if you're going through that, okay. Why I'm telling you reduce your screen time is, if you guys can recall in your school times, have you ever felt this, like when you're writing an exam, இப்போ ஒரு pre-boards இல்ல ஏதோ ஒரு half yearly quarterly எழுதும்போது நீ பேப்பர் தான் எழுதிட்டு இருக்க ஆனா உன் மைண்ட்ல ஏதோ பாட்டு ஓடிட்டே இருக்கு. Have you ever felt this? You are not thinking about that song or anything. You are just writing the paper, but your mind is automatically உன்னோட மைண்ட்ல வந்து the songs are keep on running. Have you felt this? You are telling it stop. நீ அத பத்தி கான்ஷியஸா யோசிக்கவே இல்ல. பட் அந்த ஏதோ ஒரு பாட்டோ இல்ல ஏதோ ஒரு படத்தோட ஒரு சீனோ ஓடிட்டே இருக்கு. Has that ever happened to you? Okay? It used to happen to me a lot of times in my exams, okay? நான் ஏதோ ஒரு social science paper or நான் ஏதோ business studies or economics paper எழுதிட்டு இருக்கும்போது my mind is not able to concentrate. நான் எழுதிட்டு தான் இருக்கேன், but some of the other song or some scene is running. Okay, but when I tried to look at the reason why abdina, when I used to go to my school, usually I used to get up at morning 4 o'clock to prepare. If a board exam la we'll get up early, pre-boards la andadna. So this cluster and all, we'll get up early and we'll study. But I used to always iron my clothes. Okay, so when I used to iron my clothes, I used to listen to music. Now when I used to iron, I used to just plug in my phones and listen to music. Okay, so whenever I'm trying to recall the subject that I've revised in the morning, along with the subject is the memory. So when your memory is coming out, even that song is coming out. So you are thinking about business studies, what does this particular, business economists say, that is also coming, this song is also coming. So that is the reason we tell reduce your screen time. Okay, because you're just trying the exam, what are you trying to do? You're trying to recollect your memory. So when you recollect, whatever is there in your memory will come out. So the reason we tell reduce your screen time if it is possible. If not possible, it's okay. Don't reduce. In the next, after every Jan comes every May, correct? Now the ICA has been very liberal also. Usually it used to be after every May there comes a November for CA students. If you don't clear in May, you will write in November. Now ICA is like, no, don't worry. Why 2 times a year? We will do 3 times a year. After every Jan, there comes a May. After every May, there is going to come a December. But we don't want you to do that. We want all of you to clear your exams in Jan 26. Sit at KSA Inspire 2026 as people who are qualified your CA Foundation and sitting for CA Intermediate. Okay, that's what we are focusing on. Are you able to understand? Yeah? And for that, it's not possible that only we put efforts. Okay, we have completed our syllabus, our job is done, but we didn't feel that. We felt in the next 2 months, if we can push you, even a student who is ending at 60 can go to an 80, and 80 student can get a rank. Okay? So we are all available. The only thing we want to do is you have to put efforts and learn. That I cannot do. But other than that, whatever is support, I'm telling you that question bank, audio pods, we are working on all of that. Okay, slowly we'll keep on bringing, but I want response. And one more most important thing is your SAP exams. Ma'am, why are you promoting, ma'am? I am not. Okay, trust me, without writing a model exam, you cannot treat your ICI main exam as a mock. You have to write at least 1 to 2 mock exams, a full syllabus mock, to be able to understand that how your main exams will be. If you see, a lot of students tell me, ma'am, in 12th standard, I was a topper. Here, I am not able to clear. It is because in 12th standard, they completed a syllabus 3 months before your exam itself. All the 3 months, what you were doing? Just keep on writing revision papers. That's what you were doing, right? In tuition also, you will write revision exams. In school also, you will write revision exams. Other than you will have cluster papers, Sahodaya, this pre-board, that pre-board. So you keep on revising the same syllabus for almost 6-7 times. So when you write the main exam, it is not at all difficult. But when you come to CA, you feel like with one revision, I will crack. I don't understand how that's possible. A normal board exam, you revise 6 to 7 times. A competitive exam, which is one of India's toughest paper, you only want to revise 1 time and go and then tell, I want to pass. Okay, that's not practically possible. Correct? So the second most important thing is you need to write mock exams. You need to write mock exams. Okay? Don't think, because see, the main problem that you will have with CA exams is the papers will be lengthy. It will not be like your board papers that you can complete 15 minutes before, slowly tie the paper, see your roll number one more time. All these fashion activities, you will not have time to do that. Paper mudikka mudiyadhu. Idla tie alla enga pandrathu. Tie pannuna unak extra sheet la eludra alavu content theriyunumla, that itself will not be there. Okay, so the papers are designed to be a little lengthy than usual. Why? Because again you are writing a competitive exam. Okay, if it was a BCom paper, it would have been small. But it is not a BCom paper, it's a professional level exam. You tell, when you feel really nice, no, when you tell that which are the top 10 toughest courses in India, then when CA comes, you feel like, oh, it's great, I'm doing that. But again, if it's tough, then the same level of paper will also be there, no? You want people to respect you for your profession, but then you want a BCom level paper, that's not how it works. Yeah, so the paper are designed to be a little lengthy. That is the reason why you should be able to practice. Why you need to do 1 or 2 mock practices so that you get a clear idea about it. Okay? Is there anything? I'm just keeping 1 minute. If any of you have any questions, you can ask me. Actually, if it's possible, put your name instead of your whatever names you have, no, in your Zoom. If that's possible, put your actual name so that I'll be able to mention you or something. Okay, and if you have any doubts or something, you can just put that as well for 1 minute, and then we'll continue. Is my voice too low? Okay, maybe I'm just shifting the mic too much, maybe because of that. I'll be careful with that, okay? I think it should be fine now. Is it okay? Okay. How to start a case study based question, that I'll do. Generic answers, I'll just tell you that I'll be dealing that. Case study based question, I'll be doing that. Someone asked what is the difference between exhaustive, inclusive, I'll tell that again. How to recreate a definition. Pawan, we'll discuss that as we keep on going. I'll discuss that. Ma'am, can we add up in that group? What is that group? I don't understand. How to present the answers in exam. That is what we are going to do, okay? Once we finish the concept, that's our focus. Chapter-wise, we will do all questions. How to present answer in exam. Any question banks? Okay. General, I'll give you an overview, but the detail, we are going to discuss this only. After every concept, we'll look at the questions, okay? I'll just tell you how to present an answer. Whenever you present a law answer, and it is a case study based question. Case study based question na enadhu ma'am அப்படினா ஒரு கதை இருக்கும் அந்த கதைக்கு அப்புறம் அந்த கதையில இருந்து you have to relate it to your act and you need to write it. Now how do I write a case study based question? There are some parts to it, okay? The first part in the case study based question is a provision. Provision means what? What does the law say? What does the law define a contract act? What is a consideration? What are essentials of a consideration? And the you have to write the provision. That is the first part. After that, you need to write the facts of the case. Facts of the case na enna appadina indha kadaila enna solla varanga indha kadaila A and B irka A vandu B ku edho or property kuduthirkan but that property was given under fraud or misrepresentation. What are the facts of the case? You need to write that 2 to 3 lines. That's it. Then you need to write the most important part called the analysis and conclusion. Now what I saw a lot of you making a mistake again when you write a case study based question ka answer is write that contention of, let's say there's some question, they are explaining the case law, and after that you need to tell whether what Mr. A has done is right or wrong. And you directly start writing why the contention of Mr. A is right or the contention of Mr. B is wrong. Is that correct? Is that the right way of presentation? Directly jumping on to the conclusion. Is that the right way of presentation? No. It is something like, let's say you like a girl. Okay, but that girl doesn't know you. You like a girl, you have seen her, you've been following her. And one day you randomly jump in front of her and you say, I love you. What will she do? She'll slap you. Because she doesn't know who you are. She doesn't know where are you from. Suddenly one day randomly you go, that's how answers you're writing. Don't laugh, that's how you write. You randomly write first conclusion. No, it is wrong. Mr. A is wrong. Arey, why is it wrong? What is the case? What is the provision? Some section, some reference you should give. No. Are you able to understand? That is exactly what you're doing. You're just directly jumping on to the conclusions. So the way that you write a law answer, first you'll explain, okay, contract act la indha mari sollirkan. Okay, facts of the case la enna eludunu அப்படினா question A திரும்பி எழுதணும். question A குட்டியா எழுதணும். இப்போ இங்கிலீஷ்ல தான் நீ எழுதிருப்ப அந்த காம்ப்ரிஹென்ஷனை குட்டியா ஒன்னு எழுதுவாங்களே. Same thing like that. You have to read the question, write it 2-3 points about what are the important points in this particular question. Like Mr. A entered into a contract with Mr. B. Okay, he did not tell about this particular fact, which is fraud or misrepresentation. Like that 2-3 lines, you should just write the facts of the case. Okay, and then you do an analysis. How do you write an analysis? This is what the provision says. This is what has happened in the case law. So interpreting both of them, what Mr. A has done is fraud, hence it is wrong. It is not a valid contract, or it is a void contract, or it is voidable. Whatever the answer is, you should write. Are you able to understand? The sequence, you can write it however. People who are asking, can I write the sequence? That can be however. Usually this is how we suggest. First you write what is it, and then you write what happened in your case, then you analyze them and give your conclusion. And whenever you write, you have to underline that and all, we'll look at it. Okay, once we finish concepts only, we can look into questions, no? So this is how you present. But this is one more mistake I noticed in your SAP, directly writing conclusion. They'll give you full 0 only. You might end up getting only 1 marks. Okay, I'll tell you how to write conclusion and everything, I'll tell you. That's why I'm here, right? We have effectively next 60-70 hours. I'm going to teach you the next few days, okay? That's what we're going to focus on, questions and everything. Okay? Okay. Okay, so I'll tell you how does my structure work and how are we going to do it. The first task that I'm going to begin for this week is Companies Act. Okay, I'm going to begin with the Companies Act 2013. It is because, ma'am, that is easy. No, because that's what you have for your SAP this Sunday, correct? You have to write the Companies Act 2013 only in your SAP. So what we will do is, effectively 2 to 3 days next we will spend on completing the concepts first. Okay, that is the first task. ஏன்னா கான்செப்ட் தெரிஞ்சால் தான் கொஸ்டின்ஸ் அட்டென்ட் பண்ண முடியும். மேம் ஃபஸ்ட்டு ஒரே ஒரு கான்செப்ட் பண்ணி அதோட கொஸ்டின்ஸ் மட்டும் பண்ணலாம் தேவையில்லை. Exam la andamari kepa first contract act mattuma kepa, it will be mixed, right? So first we will study all the concepts that are there in Companies Act. Okay, starting from what is a company till the MOU, AOU, Doctrine of Indoor Management, Doctrine of Ultra Vires. Ma'am, I don't know, I didn't study that in class. It's okay, I'll teach you. Okay, but I'll be a little fast. I have to be a little fast because I cannot spend again 20 hours doing Companies Act. Okay, we have to complete that in at least 10 to 12 hours. Are you able to understand? That's why I cannot be very slow, but if needed, wherever I have to stress, I'll keep on repeating, whichever is exam oriented. Okay, our first task is that we will complete the full Companies Act. Second task, what we will do is, after that, we will go through the entire by one, we will do whether this is an A category question. A category means we'll discuss it, we'll mark it. See, I will chumma tell you. We'll discuss that in class. If it's a direct question, that and all you can itself do, correct? You can itself do. A, B, I will focus mostly. Okay? And every day starting on from today or tomorrow, you will be getting your one question per day in your respective WhatsApp groups. Whichever batch you are, whichever group you have been added, you will be getting that. If somebody is not a part of KS, that is you're attending this class alone, you need to send an email in the official email ID. They'll create a separate group for you. In that, they will post it. Okay, this particular revision is open for anybody who can come and attend. Okay, I will tell you in the beginning of the week itself what is the chapter that we're going to cover. Okay, I'll be sharing with you the material and everything to that. The voice notes that I told you, the audio pods, we are discussing on how we can put it for you, whether we need to put it in a particular platform or we will give you on your WhatsApps. Whatever it is, we'll be updating you. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. Okay. Is that clear? That's what the structure of the class is going to be like. And one thing I want from you guys is no attending today and then going straight after 3 days and coming for the class. Not possible. Even if you're attending it through a Zoom live, the attendance is being marked. Which batch who is attending, it is being marked. Okay? And one more provision, I can ask if it's possible for some of you guys, if you wish to, you can come and attend a live class as well. Okay? If you wish to come. If it's easier for you, you want to come here and attend, that is also possible. We'll make arrangements for that as well. Okay? Is there any question, or I can start with the Companies Act? I'll only be able to do little part of Companies Act today because today was an intro class, so I'm mainly focused on that. Yeah? Can I start with the Companies Act? If there's any doubt, you can just keep putting that. I'll just see that as well. Don't mind my handwriting because just manage it for today. From tomorrow, I have presentations, okay? So you don't have to bear with my bad handwriting. Everything will be proper. Just for today, we need to go with this only. We don't have an option. Is it clear? Is the plan working, guys? Will you be able to do this? Yeah? And trust me, if you come along with me and follow this, I guarantee you will get 60 plus. Yeah? But you need to be very consistent. Trust me, it is not studying one day 12 hours. Every day, if you are able to make that effort for studying for 3 hours also, it is enough. Okay, ma'am, I need to give me a target for the next 70 days. அதெல்லாம் ஒன்றும் தேவையில்லை. இப்போதைக்கு அடுத்த 7 நாள் கழிச்சு உனக்கு சாப் இருக்க போதுன்னா ஃபர்ஸ்ட் பிளான் தட். இப்போ சண்டே எனக்கு சாப் இருக்க போகுது, ஃப்ரைடே நைட்டே நீ எல்லாமே ஒரு தடவை படித்து முடிச்சிருக்கணும். அந்த மாதிரி யூ கிரியேட் அ பிளான். டோன்ட் கிரியேட் அ பிளான் தட் டில் சண்டே மார்னிங் யூ ஆர் சிட்டிங் அண்ட் டூயிங் ஆல் த கான்செப்ட்ஸ். நோ. We need to have a proper plan. By Friday, we need to complete. That's what I have planned. Now, my classes for you mostly won't be on Saturday, Sunday. Till Friday, on the Anjanal, we'll complete what is that SAP syllabus. Saturday, Sunday is for you to sit and read. After my class also, you should sit and read. But Saturday, Sunday, you should only revise it again. You should not study again from the beginning. Are you able to understand? Yeah? Okay. Okay, so what we'll do quickly is, we'll see a little bit of Companies Act, okay? Little bit of Companies Act, not too much because we'll be having less time. So whenever you read any act, no, adle eppovume section number 2 of all act will be the same. You know what the section number, we'll go to 2, but first we'll start with section number 1. Section number 1 of any act is going to talk about only 4 things. Do you know what those 4 things are? Anyone? If you know, just say yes. If you don't know, you can say no as well. Any act, the section number 1, whether it's the Contract Act, the Partnership, the Companies, section number 1. No, okay, we'll discuss that. And someone is asking, is section number mandatory? It's recommendatory. Okay, I'll show you also the answer key that is given by ICI to the evaluators. If you don't write a section number, you don't lose marks. Okay, first understand that. There are some sections that you need to remember, but very few. Barely 10 sections you'll have to remember. Other than that, if you don't remember a section number, are you going to lose marks for that? No, you're not going to lose marks. But ma'am, will I get any bonus? Obviously, if I see a student writing a section number, and if I see a student not writing a section number, for that student who has written it, he has taken an effort to remember that, correct? Will I not give him an extra mark for that? Or will I not give him at least little bit of leniency? I'll give no கஷ்டப்பட்டு அந்த செக்ஷன் நம்பர்லாம் ஞாபகம் வச்சுட்டு வந்திருக்கான் கொஞ்சம் ஏதாவது ஒன்று ரெண்டு தப்பாக இருந்தால் கூட ஐ வில் பி லைக் இட்ஸ் ஓகே பரவாயில்ல அட்லீஸ்ட் இஸ் டேக்கன் த எஃபர்ட் அப்படின்னு will I give him an extra edge? Yes. Some examiners might give. So it is recommendatory that you remember the section numbers. But ma'am என்னால் முடியாது எனக்கு ஏற்கனவே எக்கனாமிக்ஸ்லாம் நிறைய ஞாபகம் வச்சுக்கணும் அப்படிலாம் ஆக்சுவலாக ஒன்றுமே கிடையாது உனக்கு இருக்கிற ஒரே தியரட்டிக்கல் பேப்பர் இதுதான். If you go to your CA intermediate or CA final, you have so many theory papers. You will have audit, law, that time and all what you will do. Here only one theory paper is there. So you can take an effort to remember at least important sections. Not all sections, but at least if a consideration or a section theriyunumana theriyunum. Contract act in the definition in this section 2 lana you have to know that. Company or definition section 2 clause 20 theriyunumana you have to know that. These are basics. But all definitions you need not remember. Okay? So that is what for the person who has told that whether section numbers are needed, it's recommendatory, it's not mandatory. Your answer key also says that only, so it depends. If you can take an effort to remember, you can remember. Now focusing on section number 1. Section number 1 of any act, whether you read the company's partnership or any act, is going to talk about only 4 things. First, it talks about something called the short title. Second, it talks about the applicability. Third, it is going to talk about the commencement. First, let's go one by one. I'll tell you the last one first. Last one later. First, we'll go on the short title. Short title is nothing but what is the name of the act. For example, the act that we are going to be reading now, it is going to be called as the Companies Act 2013. This is the short title. Are you able to understand? The short title, so எந்த செக்ஷன் எந்த பர்டிகுலர் ஆக்ட் நீ எடுத்துக்கிட்டாலோ அதோட செக்ஷன் நம்பர் 1 4 விஷயத்தை பற்றி தான் பேசும். ஃபர்ஸ்ட் அதில் ஷார்ட் டைட்டில். ஷார்ட் டைட்டில்னா இந்த ஆக்டோட பேர் என்ன? What is it going to be called as? So if you are going to read the Companies Act, it will be called as the Companies Act 2013. We have already mentioned very clearly to you that the first letters always needs to be in caps. Okay, the second thing that it is going to be talking at is the applicability. What do you mean by applicability? For example, if we talk about the Companies Act, the Companies Act will apply to whom, guys? The Companies Act will apply to whom? Applicability. Will it apply to sole proprietors? Correct. It applies to all types of companies. It applies to all types of companies. Now what is a company? That we'll study later. For now, applicability apprina to whom it applies. So here it applies to all types of companies. Correct? Then you're going to be talking about commencement, which will come a little later because that is just date you have to remember. Last it talks about is extent. Extent is whole of India. Now, ma'am, why is this even important? We know all the act is applicable to whole of India. That's not the case. Now it is the case, but couple of years back, that was not the case. Couple of years back, that was not the case. The Companies Act was applicable to the whole of India. This is from now on. But previously, if you know, before Article 370, it used to be something like this. It is applicable to whole of India except Jammu and Kashmir. It used to be like this. Okay, if you have seen previously, if you have read the Companies Act, Contract Act, it used to be like what? It applies to the whole of India except J&K. But now after scrapping that article, we don't have anything like that. Every act applies to the whole of India, and whole of India includes the state of Jammu and Kashmir. Are you able to understand that? Are you able to get it, guys? What do you mean by extent? So first is the short title. Short title means what is the name of the act. Second, it talks about applicability. This Companies Act applies to all type of companies. If you are reading the Contract Act will apply to all types of contracts. Right? Then we are going to talk about extent. Extent means to which and all area it will apply. So here the Companies Act applies to the whole of India. Companies Act applies to the whole of India. And last is commencement. Commencement is nothing but when did it begin? When did it begin? For example, if you have any new act, it will not simply come into existence. It cannot be something like today Modi government thought that we will bring a new act and tomorrow they are going to announce it. Is it going to be like that? Is that how an act is born? How does a law come into existence, guys? Today BJP thinks about it and tomorrow it will come into existence. Is it like that? No. There's a process, correct? There's a process for an act to come. You have studied in your introduction. First, for any act or any law to come, there should be some kind of problem. First starting point is what? There should be some kind of problem. Okay, first when you identify the problem, what you will do? You will form a committee of experts. For example, if it's a problem like GST, why did GST come? Because before GST you had VAT. You had some other taxes like, some other indirect taxes like there was VAT, there was excise, okay, there was sales tax, in the mari nariya different types of tax alla irundhudu. But idla enna problems la irundhudu appadina, they were not very clear. And எப்படினா ஒரே particular productக்கு சேல்ஸும் அப்ளை ஆகுது, வாட்டும் அப்ளை ஆகுது. So 2 times tax pay பண்ற மாதிரி இருந்தது. So that was a problem. To solve this problem, what did the government do? They decided there's a problem. So to solve that, they decided to bring what? GST. What is GST? One nation, one tax. Okay, we are not going to have multiple tax. We are going to have one nation, one tax. So the problem was there was multiple taxes and they were overlapping on each other. Some products you are paying tax twice. For some services you are paying tax twice. Or for example, if it was restaurant, there was no clear interpretation. Is the service or goods? Because restaurant you are doing service also, but you are providing them food. Food is a goods. So whether we should apply what for this? Service kaga tax apply pannuma illa goods kaga tax apply pannuma illa rendume pannuma indha mari romba confusion irundhudu. So they decided that idella vena nama indha palaya law ellathiyum eduthittu GST appdinu oru pudu law edutittu varala. So they identified a problem, they decided to solve it. Once they decide to solve it, now one person cannot sit and make the whole law. Correct? That's not possible. So they formed a committee. What did they do? They formed a committee of experts, in which you are this UPSC aspirants, right, who become IAS, IPS, IFS, all of these officers, or in case if it's related to finance, auditors, we all will be part of this committee of experts and we will make a draft law. And the draft law is called what, guys? What is the draft law called as? The draft law which has not yet been passed. It is called as a bill, correct. It is called as it is known as a bill. So they will create something, that particular draft is not yet approved. So it is called a bill. What will happen to the bill? The bill will go to both the houses of the parliament. The bill will go to both the houses of the parliament, correct? And once it's passed through both the houses of the parliament, it has to go to the president, correct. It has to go to the president. And what will the president do? Once you pass it in your Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, it will go to the president. And the president will give his assent, correct. What do you mean by assent? The president will sign it. The president will sign it. He will approve it, correct. He'll sign it. Basically, assent means giving your sign. Giving your approval, correct. He will give his sign. Once it is done, now does it become an act? Will it start to become applicable now? Has it turned into an act? Yes or no? Or is there anything else also? Yes? Lot of you saying yes? But tell me one thing. The president has signed it. How will I come to know about it? I am a common man. How will I come to know about it? Will they knock every door and tell, we have passed an act, GST is going to come, GST is going to come. Are they going to say that? How does a common man, president is sitting inside his Delhi office and signing. How will I come to know about it? It is informed to the public. How is it informed to the public? correct. It should be published in something called the official gazette. It should be published in something called the official gazette. Media and all is different. Government has nothing to do with the media. Okay. Government to announce. See, even if the Tamil Nadu government says, or let's say the weather department says it's a holiday, for you it's a holiday once only when you get an official message from the school, correct? Because the government says it's a holiday, it will not become. You wait for the official message from the school, right? Similarly, the media is only going to tell about it, but when does it become applicable? Only when it comes in the official gazette. The gazette is nothing but like a newspaper, like a notice board. Like how for us and all in school, if there's an annual day or there's a PTA meeting, you have a notice board and that announcements are made. Similarly, for the government to make any announcement to the public, it will be published in the official gazette. It will be published in the official gazette. And in the official gazette, it will be mentioned in the date when the GST is going to be applicable to the whole of India or wherever it is going to be applicable, it will be clearly mentioned. And then it becomes an act and it starts to apply to people. Is the basics clear for you? How an act comes? First you have a problem. To solve, then you decide on the solution. And then to solve a problem, you form a committee of experts. The committee of experts will make a draft. The draft should pass through both the houses of the parliament. Then it goes to the president for his assent. Once the president gives his assent or the signature, it goes to the official gazette. The date which is mentioned in the official gazette, from that date it is applied to the whole of India or whichever region. Okay, that will be clearly mentioned in the gazette. Is that clear? That's how all your act came into existence. Whether it's your Contract Act or Companies Act, all of this came into existence through that only. Okay, that's clear. I'll take one last concept, important concept, okay, in Companies Act. Do you know about the Companies Act definition that is given in Section 2, Clause 20? Yes or no? Section 2, Clause 20 defines what's a company. Do you know that? Yes. What does the definition say? What does the definition say? A lot of you saying yes. What does Section 2, Clause 20 say? What does Section 2, Clause 20 say? What is a company? As per Section 2, Clause 20. As per Section 2, Clause 20, a company means. Okay. A lot of you giving me the answer. Okay. Section 2, Clause 20 says that company means a company incorporated under this act or any other previous company law. I'm sorry. It's any other previous Companies Act, right? Yeah, sorry. Okay. So now first thing, my first question to you is, now when I say company means, is it an exhaustive definition or an inclusive definition? Is it an exhaustive definition or an inclusive definition? When I say company means a company incorporated, it is excellent, it is exhaustive. Why it is inclusive? One or two saying inclusive. Inclusive means there can be so many other things that can be included. Does it mean that? No. Means, Abdina, this is the complete definition. There is no exception to this. A company means, Abdina, it is an exhaustive definition. So company means a company incorporated under this act or any other previous company law. What does this mean? Let's decode it. Now you understood that means is nothing but it means that it's an exhaustive definition. Incorporated under this law. Abdina, what do you mean by incorporated under this law? That means it should be incorporated under the Companies Act 2013. That means it should be incorporated under the Companies Act 2013. For example, let's take KS. You have KS Educational Services Private Limited. It was incorporated under the Companies Act 2013. But ma'am, what about old companies like Reliance and all? Reliance did not come after 2013. No, it came in 1970s. Reliance was started by Dhirubhai Ambani long back in 1970s. So at that time, that was exactly like companies like Tata, Infosys, this all was started long. Does that mean they are all not companies? They are all not companies? They are all also companies because they are incorporated under the Companies Act 1956. That is the reason the definition says company means a company incorporated under this act or any other previous company law or any other previous company act. The previous company law was Companies Act 1956, which got changed. Okay, then we had mostly after the Satyam scam. Do you know about the Satyam scam? Satyam scam? Yeah, mainly after that only we understood that the Companies Act 1956 was not very strong. It has a lot of loopholes. That is the reason they scrapped that and came up with a completely new law, which is Companies Act 2013, right? Because only after the Satyam scam, we realized that there are no many provisions that are being made for listed companies. Because when the Satyam scam happened, the entire stock market crashed. Because Satyam was one of the first companies to be listed in the NASDAQ. Okay, which is the New York Stock Exchange. They were one of the first companies to be listed there. And when they did this fraud, the entire Indian stock market crashed. So that's when they realized that we have not made good provisions. There are a lot of loopholes. That is the reason today, why do you need auditors? Companies can run without audit also, no? Will there be any problem? You're studying this course. Now let's say companies don't appoint you as auditors. What will you do? Can that happen? No, correct. It cannot happen because for listed companies, it is mandatory to get your books audited. You don't have a choice. You cannot decide to appoint an auditor. You have to appoint an auditor. Are you able to understand? So all of that mandatorily appointing an auditor and getting an audit done. For listed companies, they have to do every 3 months once something called as a limited review. Okay, all of this became mandatory only after the Satyam scam. We realized that yearly once, if we are going to go and do audit, these guys are nicely manipulating all the books and keeping. So 3 months once, if you are listed companies, public's money is involved. So every 3 months once, you have to do something called a limited review, which you will do once you clear your intermediate, you go for your articleship, you will be doing LRs. Okay, so if you ask your seniors, they are always telling, we are busy, we are busy. You might be wondering, the audit will only happen after a year, and why are they busy throughout the year? Because every 3 years once you have to do what? You have to do your limited review. Okay? Yeah, that is what is known as quarterly results survey. Correct. Okay, are you able to understand? Did you understand the definition of company now? Company defined under section 2 clause 20 means any company incorporated under this act or any other previous company law. Is that clear? Is that clear? Is there any confusion in the definition of companies? I don't think there should be any. It should be crystal clear. Right? It is very easy. Either you are incorporated under 2013 or you are incorporated under 1956 or any other previous company law. That can be the only two possibility. Correct? So first part is done. Definition we are clear. Okay. Now what we'll be doing tomorrow is, we'll be reading so many different types of companies. There are a lot of different types of companies. Okay. For example, companies based on number of members. If you see, there's something called an OPC, one-person company. There's something called as a private company. There's something called as a public company. And then based on their size, you have something called as a small company. Then whether government has control over it or not. Based on that, you have government companies and non-government companies. Then companies which are formed without any specific purpose, they are known as companies which are inactive, are known as dormant companies, correct? And company which are formed so that you can collect money from people, like self-help groups. What are those companies known as? Nidhi companies. Okay, like that there's so many different section 8 company which are started for charitable purpose, which do not have the purpose of making profit, comes under section 8. Like that, there are different types of company, exactly based on capital, based on liability, company limited by guarantee, company limited by share capital, unlimited company. Like that, there are different types of companies that are there. That is the major chunk of this chapter, that is reading the different types of company. Except for this, you have one more part, which are all the doctrines. You know what is the meaning of the word doctrine? Yeah, now is it clear, guys? Yeah, okay, Lekha, yes, you can call assent as acceptance, it's the same stuff, okay? Yeah, so what were we doing? Yeah, we're doing the types of companies, right? So there are different types of companies, and then I asked you what is a doctrine. Yeah, that's where we stopped, right? A doctrine means what? It can be a statement of fundamental policy, especially in international relations, okay? Judgment, okay? In simple words, doctrine is nothing but a principle. In accounts, you have a lot, in maths, in physics and all, you have a lot of principles, right? Gravity and all of this. Like that, doctrines means principles. Okay, doctrine means principles. Like that, important doctrines, some are there. Doctrine of indoor management, doctrine of ultra wires, and all. We'll be reading different types of doctrine. Another important part of this chapter is the definitions we saw. We saw the doctrines, and then we are going to look at the important procedural parts like the MOA, Memorandum of Association, Article of Association, how to incorporate a company. Okay, like that, you have something called the SPICE form. I don't know if you've heard about it, the SPICE form. Right? Like that, some procedural parts we will be reading. Okay, MOA, AOA, how to incorporate a company. All of these are the procedural parts, and something like what are the features of the company, like the general topics. Okay, so mainly this is what your Companies Act talks about. It's a highly technical topic compared to the others because it has a lot of only content. Like the Contract Act, it's very interesting, okay, because you can read about fraud, misrepresentation. It is very interesting. This is more of procedural, but this is also interesting. Okay, we'll make it interesting. Okay, so that's what we're going to look at mainly. First, if we complete this huge chunk of types of companies, our major part is done. Then we'll look into doctrines, which are very important for exams. Then we'll look into the procedural part, which are tested mostly, but they're very easy to score because they are direct questions most of the times. And then we'll look into the miscellaneous part of the chapter. So mainly, your Companies Act has 4 topics. It has your types of companies, your doctrines, your procedural part, and the last part is your miscellaneous part. Tomorrow we'll focus on completing the types of companies and then move forward. Okay, so today I didn't teach you much. I wanted to give you an overview and work on the basics. That's what we did. Tomorrow we'll work on the main content. Tomorrow I'll start sharp at 6. Okay, so I want you to be present. Okay, so that's all I have. You can put in your doubts. I'll be answering that. If any of you have doubts, you can put, and we'd request you to send the feedback. In case you have any doubts, you can reach out to me directly, okay? You can reach out to me. Okay, you can reach out to me directly in case you have any doubts, and I would also appreciate if you can genuine feedbacks, whether it was positive or negative, whatever you felt about the class today. I'll be teaching the main content part from tomorrow, so I want all of you to be present for tomorrow's class. I want, if you have any doubts, you can start putting. I'll be addressing your doubts as well. Okay. Any tips for college goers, guys? You need to manage your time. At least if you cannot do 8 hours a day, I understand. You please try having a 6 hours, and you can only focus on two subjects per day. It's not possible for you to take up 3 or 4 subjects per day. It can only be 2 subjects. Okay, so initially start with that. How to study law? That is a very generic one that I'll answer. Okay, that's why I'm there with you. Any recommendation for question bank? We'll be giving you one. Okay. Okay, if you try to revise a part of it and you keep forgetting, that's the reason we're giving you audio pods, right? You have to create an audio memory. Okay, so don't worry. Your revision and classes will help you. In live, Mukesh, I will just ask the management, okay, and I'll put it in case you guys want to come here. Some of you want to come here. The Zoom is also available, but even if you want to come, we'll talk about that as well. We'll inform that in the group, okay? Details about live class, just give me a day, okay? By today night, I'll let you know what's that. What's today's task? Today I'll give you a very simple task, Daniel. I'll update it tonight. You'll not have much to do writing practice today because I didn't teach you enough content to do writing practice. So today I'll just tell you to read a couple of important pages, maybe 1 or 2 from your book, or I'll give you an MCQ based test today on basic concepts. Schedule of the class is 6 to 8, okay? It's every 6 to 8, but I'll announce the exact schedule. We'll share in your respective WhatsApp groups. If you're from an outside, you're not part of any class groups, you need to send a mail to add you to the respective groups. Okay, will you write answers for some questions as example? Yes, we'll be doing all the question practice. Can we write in my own words? Yes, you can write. That's what I write. You cannot write the sections definition in your own words. Interpretation, analysis, conclusion, all of that can be in your own words. What about ICA mock test papers? Question bank will have mock test papers, no? Contract Act, yes, I'll take all the acts. I'll take all the 7 acts. How to write an exam, that's what we're going to do, okay? Live class details will be there by tomorrow, okay? If you want to come and attend live, we'll be discussing that. We'll be putting it in your respective groups by tonight or tomorrow, okay? So if that's it, okay, you can let me know if you have any subject-specific doubts as well. I'd appreciate if you can send your feedback. I think for specific groups, we'll be sending the feedback form. You can fill that and send, or you can directly contact, you can send it to me over WhatsApp, or you can also send it to us, okay, come to BATA. Yeah, exact venue and everything, I'll update you guys. Yeah, I'll respond, message and I'll respond. If there's something very urgent, you can maybe call up, okay? Case law, all very important to read. Case laws, there's specific case laws that are important, which we'll be covering in class. All important case laws, I'll cover in class, okay? Something that are very simple, you can self-read, I'll tell that to you. I'll just tell you the gist. Summa Parchikardana, that you can do. Important case laws and all, I will discuss everything in class. Don't worry about that, yeah? Provisions can we write in your own words? Yes, provisions you can write. Definition when you're quoting something that cannot be in your own words. Yeah? If there's anything else you can put, otherwise... Exact class timings, I will be updating you. I will be taking generally from 1.5 to 2 hours because that's when we can cover for the SAP, okay? I cannot just take 1 hour every day and cover your SAP portions. You have the full Contract Act, right? Notes I'll be sharing, okay? Key points, that's what notes I'll be sharing. Can we send you answers where you can review it? Yeah, you can send it to me. In exam, they ask questions tough or moderate. See, it depends on your preparation, Sneha. If your preparation is good, they will ask you any question, you will be able to find it. But trust me, any paper it is, even if it's the toughest paper for whole India, 40 to 50 marks will be something that is coming from your ICI material. Okay, so passing will never be a problem. ICI keeps a trap only in getting that exemption or not. So if you've prepared well, 40 to 50 should be very achievable. Analysis, how many lines and all, we'll discuss that in detail, right? Because it depends on whether it's a 4 marker, whether it's a 6 marker, that's what helps you decide, right? Okay. Any doubt other than this also, you can reach out to me and I'll be able to help you out. I've given my number as well. Okay, you can reach out. And we'll be beginning the full-fledged sessions from tomorrow. I just want this to be like a warm-up. That's the reason I didn't go into much of details today. But I hope you found it useful. Yeah? Thank you so much, guys. Thank you.